Imagine 20 million people across the globe. That's the estimated number of people suffering from schizophrenia today. This isn't a condition confined to the shadows lurking in the corners of society. No, it's a global concern, affecting individuals from all walks of life. The reach of schizophrenia is vast, its impact deeply profound, yet it's often shrouded in misconceptions, misunderstood by many. People tend to think of schizophrenia as a rare, almost mythical condition. But the reality is starkly different. It's not a character flaw or a weakness, nor is it the result of poor upbringing or lack of willpower. It's a serious mental health condition, a complex interplay of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. Schizophrenia is more common than you might think, and it's high time we understood it better, because understanding is the first step towards empathy, and empathy, the cornerstone of a more compassionate world. So, what exactly is schizophrenia? This question often pops up, given the misconceptions surrounding this mental health condition. Schizophrenia is a chronic mental disorder. It affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves. It's like a sneaky puppeteer, pulling at the strings of one's perception, emotions, and actions in a way that can seem entirely foreign to those observing from the outside. Now let's delve a bit deeper. Imagine your mind as a busy city. Thoughts, emotions, and perceptions are like cars, smoothly cruising along the lanes of cognition and consciousness. In the city of a person with schizophrenia, however, it's as if a thick fog has descended, distorting the traffic signals, blurring the lanes, and making navigation difficult. The resulting confusion can lead to a range of symptoms. Some may experience hallucinations, like hearing voices that others can't hear. Others might have delusions, holding on to false beliefs, even when presented with evidence to the contrary. There may be disorganized thinking, speech, and behavior, making it challenging for them to carry out daily tasks. And some may even seem to have lost touch with reality, which can be frightening to those who do not understand the condition. But it's important to remember that schizophrenia is not a one-size-fits-all disorder. Its presentation can vary greatly from person to person, with some managing to lead fulfilling lives despite the condition. So why does schizophrenia happen? The exact cause remains unknown, but it's believed to be a combination of genetics, brain chemistry, and environmental factors. And while there's currently no cure, treatments can help manage the symptoms and improve quality of life. Although schizophrenia can be scary, knowledge is the first step towards understanding. By learning about this condition, we can help dispel the fear and stigma and foster empathy for those living with it. After all, they're navigating through the foggy city in their mind, and our understanding and support can be their guiding light. Did you know schizophrenia isn't just one uniform condition? It has several types. Let's take a closer look at the many faces of schizophrenia, starting with the 5 main types: paranoid, disorganized, catatonic, undifferentiated, and residual. Each type presents unique symptoms and characteristics, making schizophrenia a complex and diverse condition. Firstly, we have paranoid schizophrenia, the most common type. Individuals with this type often experience delusions and auditory hallucinations. They might believe they're being persecuted or that someone's out to get them. Imagine constantly feeling like you're under threat. It's a terrifying reality for many. Next is disorganized schizophrenia. This type is marked by disordered thinking and speech. People may struggle to organize their thoughts. Their speech might be jumbled and hard to understand, and they may exhibit inappropriate or bizarre behavior. Picture the challenge of trying to assemble a puzzle where none of the pieces fit. Then there's catatonic schizophrenia. This type is characterized by periods of physical immobility or excessive movement. Individuals might hold the same position for hours or exhibit peculiar motor behaviors. It's as if the body's control switch gets stuck on pause or fast forward. The 4th type is undifferentiated schizophrenia. This is a bit of a catch-all category for those who exhibit symptoms of more than one type of schizophrenia but don't meet the full criteria for any single type. It's like a mixed bag of symptoms, a challenging jigsaw puzzle of the mind. Lastly, we have residual schizophrenia. This type refers to individuals who have had at least one episode of schizophrenia but no longer display prominent symptoms. They may still experience mild disturbances like odd beliefs or unusual perceptions. It's like the embers of a fire, no longer ablaze but still smoldering. So you see, schizophrenia isn't a one-size-fits-all condition. It manifests in different ways, making it a multifaceted disorder that requires a nuanced understanding. Recognizing these distinct types is like having a map to navigate the complex landscape of schizophrenia. Understanding these types helps us recognize schizophrenia's many faces. Now that we've met the different types of schizophrenia, let's delve into what sets them apart. We've got 5 main types of schizophrenia: paranoid, disorganized, catatonic, undifferentiated, and residual. Each one has its own unique characteristics and symptoms, painting a different picture of this complex mental health condition. Let's start with paranoid schizophrenia. This type is marked by a profound distrust and suspicion of others, often leading to delusions and auditory hallucinations. Imagine hearing voices that others don't, voices that may tell you things that aren't true or instill fear. It's a constant, unnerving echo in your mind, making the world seem like a threatening and confusing place. Then we have disorganized schizophrenia. Here, the primary symptom isn't hallucinations, but disorganized speech and behavior. It's like trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle with pieces that just won't fit. Thoughts may come and go rapidly, speech can be incoherent, and everyday tasks may become a challenge. Catatonic schizophrenia, on the other hand, is characterized by periods of physical immobility or excessive activity that seems purposeless. It's a world of extremes, swinging from a standstill to a whirlwind without warning. With undifferentiated schizophrenia, we see a mix of symptoms from the other types. It's a bit of a wild card, with symptoms varying widely from person to person. Lastly, we have residual schizophrenia. Here, a person might have had at least one episode of schizophrenia, but they no longer display the major symptoms. They may still exhibit some signs, such as lack of motivation or flat emotions, but the intense hallucinations or delusions are absent. Each of these types impacts an individual's life differently. Paranoid schizophrenia can make social interaction a daunting task. Disorganized schizophrenia can turn basic communication into a labyrinth. Catatonic schizophrenia can make the body a cage or a chaotic storm. Undifferentiated and residual schizophrenia bring their own unique set of challenges. Despite their shared name, each type of schizophrenia presents a unique set of challenges. It's clear that schizophrenia is a complex condition that affects millions of people in unique ways. And just as diverse as the experiences of those living with schizophrenia, so too are the misunderstandings and misconceptions that surround this mental health condition. The importance of spreading awareness about schizophrenia cannot be overstated. The first step to breaking down barriers is understanding. Understanding that schizophrenia is not a choice, but a chronic brain disorder that people live with. Understanding that those affected are not defined by their diagnosis, but are individuals with their own strengths, dreams, and aspirations. But understanding is not enough. It needs to be coupled with empathy. Empathy for individuals who are navigating through the challenges of this condition, who are often grappling with a reality that can be distorted and confusing. Empathy for the families and loved ones who support them, often sharing in their pain and their triumphs. When we talk about breaking stigma, it's about changing the narrative. It's about moving away from fear and judgment to acceptance and support. It's about seeing the person, not the illness. It's about recognizing that mental health conditions like schizophrenia are just one aspect of a person's life, not the sum total of their identity. Stigma thrives on silence and ignorance. It grows in the shadows of misunderstanding and fear. But when we shine a light on the truth, when we share knowledge and foster understanding, we start to chip away at that stigma. We start to create an environment where those living with schizophrenia feel seen, heard, and valued. And this is not just a task for mental health professionals or advocates. Each one of us has a role to play. It's about the conversations we have, the language we use, the attitudes we hold. It's about challenging stereotypes and standing up against discrimination. It's about being an ally, a friend, a supporter. By sharing what we've learned today, we can all play a part in breaking down the stigma surrounding schizophrenia. Because every conversation, every shared understanding, every act of empathy brings us one step closer to a world where mental health is no longer stigmatized, but recognized as a vital part of our overall well-being.